All right, let's do this. This is going to be detailing miscellaneous charts that I haven't already highlighted this weekend. So we're dealing with the end month settlements. These will not be anything to do with the gold, silver miners. I've covered them in a separate video, along with any of the Dow components, also in a separate video. So let's start with Alcoa. Alcoa had a net monthly gain of 6.9% to 56.81, new multi-year high. Again, the January candle is a little bit spiky. That's a sign of short-term tired bears. So we could have some cooling. Look, we've had a hell of a run. 21 to 66. That's a 200% gain since last April. I mean, you could even call back to this threshold here around 40 to 39-ish. That would arguably assume S&P's lost at least 10-15%. And there's no sign of that right now. But anyway, bullish month for Alcoa. Airbnb. This is horrible, right? It's horrible. I mean, there's nothing good here, right? Look, initial hysteria in December 2020, 219, 81. This is just horrible. Not good. Archer Aviation, down 4.4% on the month. Another spiky candle from the 10 MA. I mean, what do you want to call that? Inverse bearish hammer? Yeah, maybe. It ain't bullish, that's for sure. I like the company in the long term, but currently this is not a buy. American Eagle, new cycle high of 28s, but we have seen a significant, rather powerful downside reversal. Net lower for January by 11%, and we're testing a key price threshold. That's not great. I guess if you're long, where'd you put your stop? 21s, 20s? But I guess the more cautious will be out. AMD, net high for January by 10.5%. Nothing particularly bearish there. I mean, the price action has been insane, of course, since, I mean, look at this. I mean, this is going back quite a way, though. 2015, $2.14. Nobody cared about it then. Good company, good products. Alibaba, net high for the month by 15.7%. Short-term, well, actually, multi-month structure is a bull flag. The January candle is bullish engulfing. You got to think we're bullish into February, March, April. Next resistance is around what? 220. Yeah. So we're 169. Basic target is 220. Bullish for the China market. Bank of America, new historic high. But the financials are tired. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, a lot of them are all kind of new historic highs, but leaning back. I mean, still short-term bullish as long as we're above 49. But yeah, these are cyclically rolling over. Kamiko, uranium miner, arguably the best in the world. Net higher for January, 34.9%. Incredible gains. Got to be bullish nuclear and uranium. Carnival, down 1.7%. Recent earnings were fine. Cleveland Cliffs, 3.6. I mean, it's had a good run from 5s to 13s, but it's a bit of a mess. CNX, spiking from the 10 MA. Short-term bullish. Gackers. Look at this. I mean, this is bullish, right? Earnings on last Friday were great. Net high by 15%, 119. Soft target 125. I'm bullish to 150. I do not own. I probably should be, but at least I'm not stupid enough to be short it, because this company did post good numbers. Energy Transfer, bullish engulfing candle. You can argue all of this is some kind of bullish pennant. Net high for January by 11.9%. Very impressive. Ford, new multi-year high, up 5.8%. It's impressive considering car sales. Freeport McMoran, best copper miner in the world, arguably. New historic high, 69.44. That was with copper printing, I think 658. Did cool back, of course, especially on Friday. Did settle net high for the month by 18.9%, $60. This candle's pretty spiky. We could have some cooling, if only briefly. Midterm bullish though, 90 to 100. GE Aerospace, new historic high, 332. Did settle net low for the month, but I was gonna say that's a bull flag, but no. I mean, well, you could argue that was a bull flag, and we did break upwards. Anyway, bullish GE. Google, new strike high, net high for the month by 8%. Impressive. Earnings are due this coming week, I think. Yeah. Intel, new multi-year high this month. Net high for the month by 25.9%. It's seen some swings, but this is mostly just a cooling wave because this is just a wildly bullish run. Remember, US government owned 10%, Nvidia owned 5% or so. A lot of the stock has been taken away from circulation, and there's nothing bearish there, right? Look at the volume. Highest volume since the 2008 collapse. Wow. And look at the volume. It's not just this month. Volume's been steadily going up since mid 24 when it floored in the 18s and then marginal lower in the 17s. You got to think the volume's going to get higher and higher. Bullish. JOBY. JOBY got smacked down on a capital raise in the past week of $1 billion, but that's a long-term positive. The January candle is bearish engulfing. It's under the 10 MA. Net lower for the month by 19.9% in the tens. I like this one a lot in the midterm, but clearly short term bearish. I mean, there is no real support here. I mean, you could argue might print the eights. You got to wonder if the S&P has a major correction this spring. Got to wonder if we'll see this back to the fives. This would be a dream buy in the fives, but I accept that's a long way down. That's a clear 50%. But this is a bearish engulfing candle. In theory, February should be printing a lower low. But yeah, I really do like this one for the long term. But short term, of course, just going to wait for a floor because we don't have one. KB Homes up 2%. In the Morgan. This is what I was talking about in terms of energy transfer. Structure has been for much of the past year, is a more arguably you can argue it's just bullish consolidation. Because it had a great one from 14 to 30, so 100% up, and it's just consolidation. And look at this candle, bam, 1091, 10.1%, near strike high. That's a powerful candle. We're going up. Lithium Americas up 11.7%, but it's a lot of chop. This company still doesn't mine any lithium. It takes a long time for the Thacker Pass mine to be built. I am bullish in the long term now. I would imagine actually this will be above the 24s at some point. But for now, you can argue this is a bull flag, although it's a very fat spike up there. I guess you could ignore it, but this is, you could argue this is a bull flag. Lockheed. What do I say every week? Almost every day. Best of the US defense stocks. Earnings were good last week. 31.1%. 31.1%. New historic high, 634. This looks like it's going to go to $800. You cannot be bearish for defense stocks. Cheniere Energy, 8.8%. More of a, not so much a dead cat bounce, but kind of a retrace of this down wave. Las Vegas Sands had earnings recently. Earnings were good. Actually, what I say about it, earnings were fine, but they still whacked the stock. And mostly, this has been a literally a multi-decade chop fest. Complete waste of time. Meta Platforms, January candle is bullish engulfing. Bullish. We're going up. Mosaic, up 14.2%. I could understand people holding with a stop at 23. MP Materials, net higher for the month by 16.3%. Look at this. It did cool back a lot, but it's holding the 10 MA. The cautious will have a stop around 51 to 50. I am midterm bullish. I think this $100 high will be taken out. Probably, certainly by late summer. If it does lose the 10 MA, then you think, well, $30 maybe. The really cautious, I guess, could either have a stop there or they'll chase it on another break above $60. Morgan Stanley, new strike high, leading the financials upward. Very impressive. Micron, just look at that. This is insane. But again, this is because memory prices are screaming upwards. Micron up 45.4%, new strike high 455. Clearly $500 is coming at some point. Wild. Netflix down 10.9%. The 6-month lower of 7. No sign of a floor. Recent earnings were good. Let's be quite clear. This is a profitable company now. It's okay. It's a fine company, but the stock has been coming down from 134. Natural target is that high, $70 threshold. It might not be hit until March or April, but we're on track, right? Look at the momentum. We can tick down for another 1 or 2 candles or blocks. And yeah, we're going down. Occidental up 10.4%, but this isn't, it's a mess, right? It's a real mess. Even if you ignore all of this, we've been stuck for years in this kind of range. Pfizer, net high for the month by almost 8%. I'm not a fan. There's so many better other healthcare companies out there. Palantir. Oh, look at this. This is an incredible thing. Incredible chart. Look at this. New strike high 207s. Bearish engulfing candle, which did play out there in December. Failed bounce reflected in a spike. January, failed bounce with a tiny spike. Full downside reversal. That is a horrible bearish engulfing candle. Net lower for the month by 17.5%, 146. Under the 10 MA, unlike the April low. So like April low, we spiked from the 10 MA. This time, we spiked actually in November a little bit. This month, horrible. Basic target, 125. Secondary target, 100. $100 doesn't look that difficult. Now, not until, I wouldn't expect 100 any earlier than March, maybe April. Could even be as late as May, June. But this candle is red. It's horrible. This should please Michael Berry, whom I think is still short Palantir. Also note, look at this. Momentum will turn negative as of Monday, February 2nd. Bearish as hell, Palantir. You could argue maybe I should just short it. I mean, if there's if there's one stock I would short right now, Palantir would be top of my list. Peloton. I kind of keep this chart just like a reminder of dumb hysteria, and then It's a good example of a flatlining zombie. PayPal, um, also a flatlining zombie. Look at this, 52s. Net lower for the month by 9.7%. I mean, really, there's nothing under $50 until, I don't know. Actually, if we go to maybe pull out a 15-year chart. Oh, look at this, 52. The all-time high looks to be 29.89 in August of 2015. And of course, that was, just abject hysteria with the COVID nonsense. Not great, huh? Transocean, I mean, 497. It's really just a flatlining zombie. Not a fan. Rocket Lab, yeah, to the moon. New strike high, $99. Net high for the month by 14.8%. It's cooled from 99s to the $80. This candle is pretty spiky, but we've had some spiky candles for a while, and it's clearly midterm bullish. I think this, I mean, all things considered, I could see this at 150. I did come to see news, but it looks like the SpaceX IPO will actually be in June. I was originally looking for maybe September. So I was thinking maybe Rocket Lab would be 200 in September, but that would be a hysteria top. But now it looks like Rocket Lab will be prone to putting in a top in maybe June. I don't know. I need to think about that some more. But anyway, it's a great company, great rockets, bullish. Rumble, shame. It's not working out, is it? This is a company doesn't make much money. Revenue is, I think revenue is still growing okay, but there's no money being made in Rumble. Schwab, near strike high at 105s, up 4% on the month to 103.82. Bullish for the sector in the main market. Schlumberger. Now Schlumberger is performing a lot better than Occidental, up 26%. The candle's a little bit spiky from price threshold. It does appear, yeah, because look, momentum turned positive this month. It does appear like we're going to go to the 58s. So yeah, bullish Schlumberger. SMR, my favorite nuclear company. It's had a horrible time since the October 57s, floored at 13s, pushed to the 22s, cooled to the 14s just last week. Well, maybe recently. Now 17s. Basic target to me is $30. Is that likely in February? Looks increasingly difficult, but I think it's good. $30 in my view is a basic target, and that's a good. It's a good way up. It's a good like 60-odd%. I like it. Target higher for January by 7.9%, 105s. Bullish. I think this is going to go to 145 this summer. Tesla net lower for January by 4.3%. Not great, but you know you see that candle there was spiky, and the sellers came in. The problem is vehicle sales and the broken consumer. TSM, near historic high, net high for the month by 8.8%. Just a moment. So, yeah, gonna be bullish Taiwan Semicon. Take two. Grand Theft Auto 6 is not due until November 19th. So we have a long way to wait for the gamers, myself included. I want to play Grand Theft Auto 6. That'll be fun. Yeah, so it's had a rough time, down 14% in January. Also, we have a break. We have a break under the 10 MA. We have not done that since early 24. And you got to wonder where's the support. I mean, actually, this is, on a monthly chart, this is horrible. Momentum's got to turn negative as of Monday, February the 2nd, and probably lean bearish into March, April, maybe May. Yeah, this is not good. This is bearish. You gotta wonder. Could they bring it down? I would say 170. 170 looks realistic. Yeah. United Airlines, new strike high, 119s, but it did see a full reversal down 8.5%. It's not quite a bearish engulfing candle, but it's a little bit vulnerable. Uber, month number 4 down 2%. Look at the candle. The sellers came in from the 10 of May, bearish for February. Momentum turned negative in December. Uranium Energy, wow, big wow. 47% up for the month, new historic high, $17. Gotta be bullish uranium and nuclear. UPS, I was long this across January. Month number 4 up. It depends on how you draw the trend, but I've kind of my rule is like try and link as many of the spikes together as you can. So you see, we did spike a little bit above that, but I'm trying to keep as many of the spikes as possible. Also, it does link up with where we closed at. So we closed at resistance, although we did get a marginal break above. Recent earnings were pretty good. They are firing another 30-odd thousand people this year. They fired 40-odd thousand last year, I think. So this company is undergoing a massive internal um, rationalization. I like it. I don't own it at the moment. I might buy it back though. I'd preferably want to buy this one back after the main market drops. And I don't know when that's going to be. And when I say by main market drop, I'm talking about at least a 10% main market correction, maybe even 20. Is that February or March? I don't know. I don't know, unfortunately. But the cautious will kind of keep a war chest. And this would still be one of my top 3, 4, maybe 5 names. Basic target would be 132, and then maybe you think, yeah, 160 maybe. Yeah, I think this downtrend did conclude at $80. Midterm bullish. Just a caveat, like again, short-term vulnerable, but I like this one. Warner Brothers. Is there much to say other than the fact that it looks like Netflix will be the winning bidder? Wells Fargo, new historic high, and that might be it. Just actually, yeah, Exxon. Yeah, which of course is not a Dow component. Exxon was net high for the month by 17.5%. New historic high, 142s. This chart is similar, of course, to Chevron, as it should be. They're very similar companies in terms of net margins and revenue growth, that sort of thing. So yeah, Chevron, Exxon. I mean, look at the size of that. That's a break candle. That's a new historic high, powering upwards. So what's February candle's going to be up, right? What are we going to print in February? 150 maybe? All right. That concludes those. Maybe I want to cover the year to date. I kind of want to do that. Hang on. Where is it? There it is. Okay, that is year to date. That's okay. Yeah. Look at this. So year to date, gold 13%, silver 19.9%, oil 14.5%. This is a problem. Higher oil is bearish, especially for the transports. And yes, that does include UPS, which I was just babbling about. Bonds are basically flat, and the S&P is up 1.4%. But yeah, you can see the vicious. I mean, look at silver. Silver was up 65% or so just last Thursday. Incredible drop. You got to wonder actually if silver will turn negative for the year. Again, we're only 1 month into the year, but still, it's gonna be really interesting to see how Monday opens. Um, and yeah, regardless of how Monday opens and even how next week trades, um, I lean net bullish into the summer. And on that overly bullish note, I wish you a good week.